Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, Lindy's Magpie Reads. I'm at Aurora Mountain Farm in the Yukon. This is my sister and brother-in-law's place, and I don't know about how much video I can upload, so I'm going to try and keep this really short. I've only got 3 books to tell you about, and this is also going to be a bit of a travel vlog because I have been a few places since my last Friday reads. Friday night last week I went out to St. Paul, Alberta for a family reunion, and all 5 of us, all my siblings, were together for the first time in 7 years. So you can see some footage of that. And went out to see the bison at my brother's farm. The last time I was out in St. Paul, I forgot to show some footage of the place where I grew up. My brother and his wife live in the house where we grew up. You can see the lake that's out front, Julian Lake. And yeah, so this is the landscape of my childhood. We did the tourist thing in St. Paul. We went to the Flying Saucer landing pad because my sister Simone was looking for a patch that she could sew on her backpack that features the landing pad. So there's a little gift shop there that we went to. They did not have such a thing. It was something that used to be on ball caps that they sold. My sister and my sister-in-law made this quilt with ball cap patches, and like here's an example here. You can see the patch. And speaking of crafts, I finished the shawl, which I made for my sister Zan. And we also toured the mosaic that was made, and you can see me working on a little bit of it. The whole community was a part of that. This photo was taken back in June, my last visit to St. Paul. We also visited the place where our parents are buried. Their ashes are buried. It was a Desaulniers family reunion that we were in St. Paul for. That my mother's side of the family, our ancestor came from France in 1666, and the Desaulniers settled in the Yamachiche area of Quebec. On to the books, starting with an audiobook, A Grandmother Begins the Story. It's written by a Canadian Métis writer, Michelle Porter, and it's about multi-generations in a Métis family, and some of the points of view are from Bison, 3 generations of Bison, and also from the earth has a voice, and even a car belonging to one of the women has a voice. It's a story about an old woman who wants to get sober before she dies. It's the story of a younger woman who has given up her child and then realizes that was the wrong thing to do. It's the story about borders and bison on both sides of fences. And it's about healing relationships between people after trauma, and also about healing the land. There's a lot going on in here, and I really enjoyed this. It is told by a full cast, I think 14 different readers. It's fab. Next up is a book that I picked up for the Reading Across Canada Challenge. This is a project hosted by Jolene of Bookworm Adventure Girl. I will link her information down below. It was July, that was the month for a New Brunswick author and setting. Better late than never. And as a matter of fact, Jolene and I did a buddy read of this book, which I am going to tell you about now. Mercy Among the Children by David Adams Richards won Canada's Giller Prize back in the year 2000. There was actually two winners. The co-winner was Michael Ondaatje's Anil's Ghost, which I read way back then, but it's taken me 23 years to get to Mercy Among the Children. This is a story of poverty set in rural New Brunswick near the Miramichi River. It's set mostly in the 1970s and 80s, but the central families are living in such poverty that you would think it's the 19th century. And there was a point early on in this book where I almost abandoned it because it was just so sad, one tragedy after another. So if you like Thomas Hardy novels, I think this is a book for you. It really goes heavy on emotion. The writing is not at all lyrical like Thomas Hardy, but it's very unobtrusive. It's pretty straightforward. And as I said, it's a story of poverty and a man who decides that he will not harm anyone, and all of the consequences that causes for his family. One of the benefits of a buddy read is that another reader can help pull you through and finish a book that ends up being a 5-star read instead of abandoning it. The combination of the human drama and the philosophical aspects really ended up drawing me in. And last up, the best of these 3 books, so best book I've read in the past week, is the winner of the International Booker Prize, Tomb of Sand by Geetanjali Shree. It was translated by Daisy Rockwell, and I'm really impressed with this novel. It has such a light and playful tone. There's a lot of chaos that comes together, and what makes it so very rich is the underlying tragedy of partition and how it affects human beings. Oh, this was a buddy read with Roz of Scallydandling About the Books, and it was pure delight. She and I were leaving Voxer messages back and forth, just reveling in the great language, the use of language, I should say. So very playful and rewarding, and sent me on internet deep dives Loved it. Here we are driving out to the grazing lease to give some water to the cattle. This is at Aurora Mountain Farm. And that's it for all of the books that I've got to tell you about. Thank you so very much for watching. I always appreciate hearing from you, so please leave me a message down in the comments below. Everybody, be well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.